So, guys, I'm going to give you my thoughts on this whole Amber Guyger trial. Apparently, Amber Guyger is a former Dallas police officer who fatally shot her neighbor in his own home. She apparently thought that she was in her own apartment and that the victim, his name is Botham John, was a burglar. This is a weird case. This case has been my interest for about a year now. The prosecutors have stated that she made a bunch of unreasonable decisions, that she missed all these signs, that she was in the wrong apartment complex. There she is. There was like an elevation change, placemats that were there that weren't there, apartment numbers. There was one plant that was visible on one level, one that's not. The smell of Botham John's room. There's a lot of missing signs that she could have came to her senses towards, but she didn't. She apparently missed all those signs and just walked right into the wrong room and shot someone. The prosecution's really making this a tough case. However, defense is also really tough on this. They're saying that Amber Guyger walked into a wrong person's apartment thinking that it was her own. She was ready to go home from work. She was apparently distracted on her ride home. She was talking to another officer that she had an affair with. And it was morally wrong because that officer was married and had kids, and she still sent sexually explicit photos to him, which I don't know why. That's probably what cost this young man's life, was that affair of that officer. She was probably distracted. She was going around a loop and not counting what floor she was on. So, yeah. But she pulled into the wrong parking lot floor, and she walked down the hallway. She saw that there was a door slightly ajar. She shot and killed Botham Jean. She said, "Show me your hands, show me your hands." The guy apparently charged at her and she shot him twice. And she said she did CPR on him as soon as she realized that this wasn't her apartment. She called 911. The authorities told her to leave, and she did. The prosecutor is saying that she barely tried any CPR and was seen talking outside the apartment complex on her cell phone and texting the officer that she had an affair with. She said she was out there because the other policeman told her to get out so they can focus on Botham John. This case can go two ways. I think she will be acquitted. I think it's the right decision. As much as I do want to see her behind bars, because the placement behind bars is kind of ironic. They're supposed to put the bad guys behind bars, except this time they're the ones going behind bars. It's weird, but she needs to be acquitted. She will learn from this mistake on her own. It is reasonable for her to enter a wrong apartment. So far, 90 people came up and said they did the same thing. I can see her thinking that a burglar was in her apartment. The door was slightly ajar. So I can see that. I can see her acting in a quick, emotional decision to shoot the suspect and, freak out and calling 911, or maybe trying very little CPR. This is the first time she's been in this type of situation alone. She is trained to do CPR, but not really on a real person. Doing CPR on a dummy doll is different than a real person, and she doesn't know how to do that. She did do sternum rubs on the guy. However, they were unsuccessful. She tried, she had to react quickly. This was probably really tough for her. So, you can acquit her based on that. However, there's Botham John's point of view. He was sitting down, eating a bowl of ice cream. You see a stranger barge into your room. He's going to act like, hey, what are you doing in here? This is my house because it was his room, and you're gonna be confused and be like, what are you doing in here? You might as well grab a bat and try to charge at the person in your room. It's like an intruder. So there's different point of views you can look at. You can't just look at one. You have to look at both of them. I think she will be acquitted because she acknowledges her mistake, and I believe she made reasonable decisions to try to save the person she shot, and also of why she ended in the wrong apartment. She works long hours, overtime, a part-time job. She has an affair with another officer, which that's probably what cost this young man's life. She wasn't distracted on the phone, he probably would have lived. Or maybe if his door wasn't slightly ajar, because his door was defective. I think the hotel is also part to blame here, because there are 4 numbers there not really marked. There's a defective door, so it could be on them. Who knows? There's 2 ways this trial could go down. 1, an acquittal, or 2, a mistrial. Because there's both evidence on both sides to suggest whether she was in the wrong or was she reasonable. I'll be very shocked if she is convicted guilty. If she is, it's probably manslaughter. If it's murder, I will be shocked. But I think she must be acquitted here. It's the right decision. She will learn from her mistakes on her own. So this is just a horrible mistake. Fatal mistake. I believe it was handled reasonably, and I believe she did everything she could. So we'll see what happens here.